Hold up. Wait a minute.
Bruh.
Did you hit the like button? Drop some rabbits in the chat. Let's go.
Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. If you want the tea, come see me. Rabbit hole is the place to be for real news, not fake news. Celebrity news, breaking news around the clock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock, I rock, I rock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock. Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, chit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some drop 'em, drop 'em, drop 'em, drop 'em. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop 'em, drop 'em, drop 'em, drop 'em. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. True crime is my specialty. Exposed in the industry. Unsolved mysteries. Sticking to reality. Fair use commentary. Talking about cults. Trying to get results. Exploring hopes. Exploring, researching, debunking, investigating, being nosy, super nosy, being messy, being shady. Rabbit hole news. That's me, the chick with ADHD, unmedicated but quite educated. Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Hit that like, hit that like. Let's go, let's go. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. My goodness. Sorry. Had to run. And my hair's all over the place now. Shout out to everybody. I had to run. Thank you, guys. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. So a lot of people were in my comments yesterday, and they were hitting me up, and they said, Rabbit, listen, Nancy Grace did a review. Can we, like, get Rabbit graced? And I said, I haven't watched it. And, I can only do Nancy Grace for, like, I don't know, because the lady gets on my nerves. She really does. So if I have to review her, we have to kind of talk about the things that she does. Okay, really. And so I did push this back. We were live earlier, which I'm not going to talk a lot about today because we reviewed it already. Look at me running around. Where's my water? Anyways, I'll get it in a little bit. I can't stand Nancy Grace. So we were live earlier. And it was a different live. It wasn't pertaining to Celeste, but I felt like it needed its own live. That's why we went live earlier. So we're not going to talk a lot about the Blindside, Aaron Quinton's bigamy situation. But if you're interested, go watch it. This is what's happening. There's a woman. For those that don't know who the Blindside actor is, his name is Quinton Aaron. And he had a spinal stroke earlier in the year. And he's been recovering. And apparently he married a woman. He was married for like 2 years to this woman, and come to find out that she's been married for 30 years. And she lied to him and said that she had divorced like 10 years ago. And there's this bigamy situation going on. We don't hear a lot about that. There's a bigamy situation going on, and there is a GoFundMe situation going on. So that that's a huge deal. Okay. Yes. Can you imagine you get married and then you have like a spinal stroke, and then they have to kick her out of the hospital because she can't make decisions? She lied to the family. She said she was a nurse, and she really wasn't a nurse. She said she was having like triplets, and turns out she was never pregnant. And she's over here on the internet talking about her lady parts work. And why are people talking about her lady parts? And I'm like, okay, so y'all got to watch that first live. Okay. Y'all got to watch that verse live. You said my grandpa was a bigamist? I didn't even know there was such a thing as I know bigamy, but not bigamist. Bigamist? Bigamist? Like legally married to more than one person? Y'all watch it. You don't want to miss it, because the lady spoke out and she's defending herself, and someone's going to jail. Okay. Someone's going to jail. That's what's going to happen. That's what had happened. Someone's going to jail. Okay. Does make you wonder. A bigamist. So that's a real word though. Bigamist is a real word. That's right. Jesus said no. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So the rabbit grease. I think I would look. I think I could totally pull. I mean, I do have some blonde right now, right? I could pull it off. I don't know about the short little bob. Her face is more like pointy. I'm where I have more of a rounder face. So I don't know. Uh, anyways, shout out to everybody says. Not like this. Nah, yeah, but it's like legally sister wives. A bigamist is a person who commits bigamy. Right. But I just thought that it was like, I'm only thinking that people tend to only legally marry like one time, right? And then if you illegally marry another person, like, do people tend to marry 5, 6 people through the courts? And then that's a bigamist? We just don't hear it too often. I'll check it out clearly, Shelly. Thank you. You said, yeah, her hair got a little bit shorter. I will say that. She probably cut the Paul Mitchell off or something. Because like that's not giving Paul Mitchell anymore. Her earlier pictures are. Like she gave a lot of Paul Mitchell. She gave a lot of like, volume to the hair and everything. Anyways, shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's get started. All right, we got to get started because we have so much to review, so much to talk about, and I'm running around. And so I got my drinks here. I got a little snack over here too, just in case. We're going to review Nancy because some of the people were telling me we have to talk about Nancy Grace and her review of the D4VD situation. Now, I may not be a fan of Nancy, but she was one of the ones that was kind of earlier on reviewing D4VD. So there's that. Another thing that I think it's important to talk about is Celeste Rivas' family is speaking out after D4VD was charged in her death. All we want is justice. That's what's being said. And, seeing these photos right here, like I saw this one yesterday and I said, oh my gosh, she just looks like a little girl. Like, she just looks like a little girl, man. Like, just a little girl. The 14-year-old, the family of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez shared their first public statement on Tuesday, a day after the singer and songwriter David was charged with murder in their daughter's death. There was an interview with the district attorney. We're going to watch that too. So we'll watch Nancy, district attorney. We're going to watch different things. We would like to thank the Los Angeles Police Department and the district attorney's office for their hard work. We would like to thank the people of Lake Elsinore for all their support. The statement said in part, Celeste was a beautiful, strong girl who loved to sing and dance. Every Friday night was movie night and we all spent wonderful times together. We love her very much, and she always told us that she loved us. We miss her deeply. All we want is justice for Celeste, the statement said. D4VD, whose real name is David, he's sitting on these charges: first-degree murder with special circumstances, lewd and lascivious. I can never say that word, but we described it. Acts with an individual under the age of 14 mutilating a body on Monday morning after he was arrested last week after becoming the target of the grand jury investigation. Okay. Now, of course, the murder charges also include a special circumstance like lying in wait, committing the crime for a financial gain, and murdering the witness in an investigation, as well as a special circumstances, allegations that Burke personally used a sharp instrument to commit the crime in April of 2025. During the press conference on Monday, the district attorney spoke. So we all know, I don't think there's going to be a press conference tomorrow. I'm going to be honest with you. So tomorrow we have a hearing. We will be live. Make sure you have your notifications on because we're going to be here. We will be here live talking about it, okay? So just so people are aware, we're going to review everything that we need to know. You're going to be annoyed by this. LOL, I saw it and it was a good one. Was it a good one? Okay. I believe you. I believe you if you said it was a good one. Gloria Marin, thank you so much for the super sticker. Oh, thank you guys for supporting the channel. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. That's a great way to support. Thank you guys. You said, if I run to her, says, shout out, Pinche Becky. I don't know if you saw my coffee to you yesterday. Shout out to you. Thank you again for yesterday. If you do go, for tomorrow, let us know. Hit me up. You already know. But this time I'm going to give you my personal number. And that way you can just hit me up. You can text me from there as well and everything. I don't think there's going to be a press conference. There may be a delay. Yeah. So we're going to set up the live stream. Okay. For tonight, for tomorrow, it's going to be up in early morning. We're going to go. We're just going to do it. I'm thinking the hearing might be at like 8:30 again. Cali time. That's what I'm thinking. And then we'll definitely review some other things. Hola, Rabbit. No sé si has escuchado las notas de voz de Celeste que D4VD usó en sus canciones. Están en Reddit, ya. Las hemos escuchado desde el año pasado que viamos. Y cuando dice el nombre, ya. Hay muchas notas en la música. Y luego también, sorry, now I'm talking in Spanish. Also, he's talking about the voice notes that D4VD used in his music with Celeste's voice. Okay. Also, there was like this video of him, the time frame after Celeste had died, where he was celebrating the album. There's just so many things, guys, that it's like he really he's a sick individual, right? He disconnected from all kinds of consequences, reality of the situation. Like, did he just, like, what did he think was going to happen? Like, I don't know. You said a murmur, a witness, an investigation is one that I don't get. That she was the witness. This is how I understand it. I could be wrong, but the way I understand it is that she's not only the victim, but she's also the witness. She's also the witness of the crime and the victim. So she's both, actually. I think that's why there's that confusion. You said, Rabbit, the judge ruled no cameras in the courtroom tomorrow. It's all good. We stream. If Becky goes, she will be able to get in the courtroom and she'll text us or let us know any updates. That's how we were able to do it. What was it? On Monday. We were able to kind of get through that. Oh my God, my son was hospitalized, but I'll be there depending. Oh my gosh. Pinche Becky, I'm so sorry. If you're not there, you're not there. Don't worry about it. But I'm so sorry. And I'm hoping for the best recovery for your son. I am so sorry to hear that. Ooh, sorry about that. You said, I listened to the Wither album. The music video, each one is haunting. Yeah. The lyrics, the visual, everything is about Celeste. Really? That's insane. I'm telling you, I don't know what to make of it, like, when it comes to this situation. But okay, let's get into some Rabbit Grace, Nancy Grace. Yeah, I saw the links. People were sending me links to order a wig. We might get a little Nancy Grace wig, depending on how long. Man, let me tell you, we got the judge's wig, and that one was very itchy, but Baby Bunny took that one and made it her own. So I'm gonna need a wig, a bob. We're gonna need a little. It's a bob, right? Anyways, let's get into this.
Anthony Burke, aka D4VD, sick cover-up of a brutal murder and dismemberment of a little girl, Celeste, just 13 years old when the two started dating. Alleged motive to cover up while she threatening to go public with their relationship. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us.
Ooh. I need to start my report like that. This is Nancy Grace. Okay, hold up. Let's get into it. I want to get right to her commentary.
The state's claim is that apparently little Celeste threatened to go public with their sex relationship, and he killed her with a sharp tool. I mean, that's bad, Dave Mack. Any goodwill D4VD, aka David, aka David Anthony Burke, had, it's over. And then to dismember a child.
Can we just call him David now? Like AKA. I'm like, I cannot call him Dave. Just call him David. That's his name. I mean, you know, it's kind of, we're used to it because that's how everybody knows him musically. But like, you know, let's just call him David for now.
Body, her head found in one plastic bag, her body dismembered, found in a second plastic bag called body bags. Were they actually body bags? Were they trash bags? Does it matter? Don't know, don't care. This is a death penalty qualified case, and don't start up with me, Troy Slayton. He is 21 years old. Go ahead and Google the Supreme Court rulings, Troy. 18 and above are fit for the death penalty in the United States. And yes, I know there's a more.
Don't do it, Troy. Troy, don't do it. Don't do it, Troy. Troy's like, I'm not going. I don't want my head cut off. I don't want nothing. Like, I'm going to breathe if I can.
Moratorium in California for now. But to Dave Mack, what happened in the courtroom? Hit me.
It was shocking, Nancy, that D4VD, aka David Anthony Burke, is charged with first-degree murder.
Let me fast forward. She said, "Hit me, hit me." Lord have mercy. Come on, let's go. We know the case. Here we go.
You on the bench. The prosecutors are going to cry if you win. The defense attorneys will dance in the halls, but that means you can't join us. So, okay, that's out. Troy Slayton, can we talk about this lying in wait? Did you hear what Dave Mack just said? Lying in wait That is an aggravating circumstance because it tells a jury the person had plenty of time to cool down and not do the act. They were that intent on the murder. They lie in wait. That's creepy.
Well, it's not just creepy, but in the California jurisdiction, Nancy, it's a special circumstance. And it's one of the reasons why District Attorney Nathan Hawkman has decided to potentially seek life in prison without possibility of parole or even the death penalty. Now, I know that you mentioned in
the death penalty, again, we were going back and forth. In California, it would be life. It would be life. That's it. That's all it would be, right? Because of the death penalty, there's a hold on it. I'm not really sure. Let me know in the chat. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago too.
warm up that there is a moratorium on the death penalty, but that can change when the governor changes. We're having an election here in November. In June is the primary.
Troy
in November, we can have a new governor.
And they're trying to remove the government. They're trying to, they don't want him in there. There's a lot of people that are not happy with what they have, and they're trying to get rid of him.
Who decides to reimpose a death penalty?
You know, I don't care about politics. I could not give a flying fig about politics. They all lie. It's like swimming through a cesspool.
Death penalty.
You know what, Nancy? Your wig is on point today. I agree. I agree so much. Let me get both of my gavels. Okay? I agree. We don't care about politics. Stop it. Even though politics is important in terms of crime and stuff like that and the laws, and I get it, we get it. But she's not wrong about this. She is not wrong about this. Okay? So now it's two guys, because y'all we get into this ish all the time on this channel. We do. Well, this not, and that's why, you know what? Troy, sit down. Sit down. You got a big forehead, and I'm about to throw one of these at you. Sit down before you get hurt.
Exactly. And I guarantee you, whoever is running may have a good shot, since it's now coming out that the California governor got somebody to pay $1.something million to buy his own books. No comment. Don't care. I care what it means for this. You're saying that a new governor could try to get into office by claiming they're going to get rid of the moratorium on the death penalty.
They could, Nancy. And that's why the district attorney's office here, a very experienced prosecutor, has been assigned by Nathan Hawkman, Beth Silverman, and she could very well decide to seek the death penalty in this case. This case is death penalty eligible. And even if they decided not to seek the death penalty, I can tell you that the district attorney's office is going to seek life without possibility of parole.
Okay, back to you, Dave Mack. Can you pick it back up on lie in wait? Oh, hold on just a moment. Joining me, Dr. Bethany Marshall, because you know what I noticed, Dave Mack, is no matter how much I put it to Troy Slayton, he ignored the fact that I was asking about lying in wait and instead went off down the garden path about the law surrounding the death.
Yeah, the lying in wait. He didn't answer. Nancy, you need somebody new. You bring Rabbit Grace on, and I'm telling you. We can go wig to wig. We really could.
Penalty in politics. Dr. Bethany Marshall, renowned psychoanalyst, joining us out of this jurisdiction, LA. She is the author of Deal Breakers. You can see her now on Peacock and Bravo, and find her at drbethanymarshall.com. Dr. Bethany Marshall, why is it so chilling to think he, according to prosecutors, D4VD, let's see D4VD and some of his photos and his blood-drenched outfits. Now, these blood-drenched outfits were all marketing tools. Okay, there you go. And there's a lot more. And Dr. Bethany, that's a whole nother can of worms. Oh, good gravy. This takes on a whole new meaning when I got to think about a 14-year-old little girl getting dismembered by him. Freakazoid. I wonder if there's any way I could get this in aggravating circumstances. But that said, what Troy Slate, doesn't want to talk about.
Aggravating circumstances. Yeah, man, this merge, why does he have a Band-Aid there too? It's just, this can never see this the same way anymore after knowing what we know now.
Is the act, Bethany, of lying in wait. You know what, Dr. Bethany, every time the twins come home, I have a hiding spot, and it never gets old. I jump out right as they turn the corner, and it scares them. And the lying in wait, I hear them come in the back door. I hear their footsteps. I can tell by the way their footsteps sound who it is, and I jump out at the right moment. It always scares them. That said, the lying in wait, you know the victim is coming, you know you're going to kill her, and you wait for the moment to jump out. And
who drove her to that location? That's the question. We were asking this yesterday with Flojo and Pinche Becky. Who drove her to that location? Like, was this a meeting? Like, lying in wait? Did she knew she was coming?
Murder a 13-year-old little girl that, according to prosecutors, you have been having with, and you don't want your music career down the crapper because people find out about statutory bam.
But Nancy, it also suggests that there's something perverse and creepy about why he killed her that's beyond trying to protect his music career. And that is that he has all those shirts with the blood spatters all over them. That tells me that perhaps he was also sadistic. We already know that there was a power differential between the two of them, not just because of age.
The shirts tell you he was sadistic. I mean, she a doctor? She needs a new background, guys, because this is not doing it for me right here. Like this, like, I don't know. She just blends in the background. I don't know, man. Or something.
Why he killed her that's beyond trying to protect his music career. And that is that he has all those shirts with the blood spatters all over them. That tells me that perhaps he was also sadistic. We already know that there was a power differential between the two of them, not just because of age, but in a way that follows the pattern of domestic violence. He isolated her from her friends, isolated her from her families. There's that one picture where she's holding the Louis Vuitton purse in front of her face. So she's already, hiding from the people around her who could rescue her from this situation. We know that victims of domestic violence.
Oh, there it is, Bethany. Hey, look.
I don't like the way she's framing it, because when you say victims of I'm not saying that she didn't have any domestic violence, but it something's off about her commentary to this. She was a child and she was groomed. Children that are groomed should not be in relationships or in relationships that are DV. Like, even just say that. Like, I don't know what, victims of domestic violence is. We know that, but that's like, how do I say this? Because it's like calling it domestic violence. It's giving like there's a consensual thing going on right here. We have to acknowledge that that's not it. That's not it here. So something's off about that. The background's off and the commentary's off. I don't know.
Look at your screen.
Right there.
And almost every picture
Right
they
there.
took together, he has her hiding her face. Look, you're right.
He has her hiding. This is domestic violence right in that picture. And Nancy, women are more likely to get killed when they're about to leave the violent relationship. Always, always, always. But Nancy, those blood spattered shirts, that tells me that there is a bit of a glorification of the eventual slaughter. I don't see homicide, I see slaughter. The words are very important in my field. And when you look at that, it means that he was.
Because I don't see homicide. I see, who said they didn't? I don't know this doctor. Boo. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't like this commentary. She was a child. She was a little girl. Yeah, they're making her. Thank you. That's what it is. It's completely off. But also, like, she's not a woman. No, not like a grown woman who could have consented. There's slaughter, homicide. I mean, aren't those? I don't know, man. Are you sure she's I don't know where she got her PhD, but okay.
This was the final glory act. I think it's easy in the eyes of the law to say, oh, he's witness tampering. That's a very safe phrase. We all know what that means. Why don't we use the word slaughter the victim because it's sexually and emotionally exciting? I think that's what we're really talking about here.
Sexually and emotionally exciting. Dr. Bethany, you just took me off course, and I'm actually glad you did, because I hadn't thought of a sexual excitement from murdering a little girl. I want you to explain to me.
That is, when I hear something like that, that's, somebody who's a serial killer type of situation. Miss Kate, do we, and this is an interesting point that you made, but Celeste very much believes she was in a regular relationship. Did she? I don't know what Celeste believed. That's the thing. It's like, it's a very hard thing to kind of like say, because I don't know what Celeste believed, right? I don't even think her family really even knew her that way to really, what it sounds like to me is that she met this guy possibly online, and she was probably 12 years old, right, at that time. And maybe she thought at that time, right, or whatever it was, and they had been together for a while. At some point, she became a liability to him, right? But he was also taking her out of things. when somebody's in a situation, maybe the home is chaotic, maybe there's too much conflict, or parents are absent, they work 2 jobs, whatever it may be. Then you have somebody who's offering you money, who's able to get you like a different apartment, a Louis Vuitton purse at that age. Like these are just things, right? But I don't know what Celeste believed. I don't know if she necessarily believed, like, was this somebody? She had a tattoo, she had his name there. It almost felt like she was branded, kind of like that. But I don't know. I don't know what she believed. That's the thing. It's a hard thing to kind of put it there, because we don't know what this child was thinking at the age of 12. So I don't know. Celeste doesn't know what. That's what I'm saying is like, what is a regular relationship? What is a relationship to a child? What I do know is that she didn't have enough guidance in her life to be able to kind of, decipher that. She didn't have the right people in her life. The people that she had in her life did not guide her, right? Something was going on. She wasn't guided. Maybe they tried, but she wasn't guided very well. How did they meet? That's what they said online, that's why I'm struggling. I don't know what Celeste believed. That's why I'm like, I don't know if this labeling of a DV victim, we don't know that because we don't know. It's not a consensual relationship. But then again, I could see the other side of this argument that's saying, well, is every DV relationship consensual? Well, I would hope that if it's a relationship, it's not with a minor, right? Like I don't know. It's a weird way to use terms. I think that's what it is. And I would have expected more from somebody who's a PhD.
The frame of mind of someone that lies in wait. Now, for me, that's a technical legal term that I use as an aggravating circumstance to either seek the death penalty or show intent to a jury. Intent, of course, only takes the flash of a moment, the blink of an eye to form. Under the law, there's no required time for intent. But the lying in wait aspect as an entire cold and calculating nature to the murder.
But not only that, Nancy, it is wanting to terrify the victim and also wanting to render the victim unaware. So you think with pedophilia, there's this broad age difference between the two. She was not aware initially that she was being groomed. We think of serial killers, cutting off the head of the victim. They don't want the victim to be aware of what they're about to do. That's a part of the perverse nature of this type of
Rex, the Lisk killer, right? And I brought this up. I said, there's some similarities. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we only know of one victim when it comes to D4VD, but you could probably, if you are to look into maybe some of the kind of more notorious killers, you could look into maybe similarities and whatnot. You said the power dynamics made her being a child makes it impossible for her to consent. Thank you, Soul Power. And he took advantage of the fact that she was vulnerable and a runaway. Yes. And that's why it's very difficult to hear. And I'm not saying that the lady is wrong. Could she have experienced violence in that relationship? Yeah. And I even hate the fact that we have to use the word relationship because it almost makes people question, well, consent. And you can't have consent. There is no consent here. There is no consent here. And I say this as somebody who, I kind of went through I told you guys I went through something similar when I was about Celeste's age. I had a much older boyfriend, and looking at it now in my 40s, I definitely understand the consequences of that. I didn't know it then, but it took me a while to get there, to understand that, young girls dating older men, it can mess you up. It really can. It just does. And I don't know, maybe we'll get into that in other ways, but it's very hard to hear her say DV in this. Maybe DV is not the right word. There's got to be a different word for that.
Homicide is that there's a stalking component, Nancy, like a cold-blooded stalking component, but also in all perversions, you do not want the victim to be completely aware of what you are about to do. So I wonder what their sex play was like throughout this relationship. I wonder what he did to her. Did he torture her?
Why are you even saying that?
What did she just say? Hold up. I'm about to throw a gavel at her head. We about to see a different color of green screen. What did she say? What did she say? What did she say? She said, what now? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that is off. Off. Let me play.
So you think with pedophilia, there's this broad age difference between the two. She was not aware initially that she was being groomed. We think of serial killers, cutting off the head of the victim. They don't want the victim to be aware of what they're about to do. That's a part of the perverse nature of this type of homicide, is that there's a stalking component, Nancy, like a cold-blooded stalking component, but also in all perversions, you do not want the victim to be completely aware of what you are about to do. So I wonder what their sex play was like throughout this relationship. I wonder what he did to her. Did he torture her?
Why are you even saying that, Dr. Bethany Marshall? Their sex play.
Thank you. What is that? What do you see what I'm saying? It's like we have to be careful with the language that we use because we're talking about a child. Okay. Like, does she know how old this child is? Like, she knows this is a minor, right? Did she study this before she gave commentary? She is out of order. I'm sorry.
When you are out of order. You're out of order. You're out of order. The whole trial is out of order. They're out of order.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Nancy gets a second point today. Did you see that? Did you? This language is off. Is so, and I'm glad she called it off. I'm glad she called it out. I'm sorry. This doesn't work this way.
This is statutory. A child cannot consent to sex play. That is certainly putting perfume on the pig. I'm going to let you think about what you just said for just a moment. Ooh. Dave Mack with me, Crime Stories.
Sit that bitch down. I'm sorry. That just made me see. This is if you are a PhD level doctor, guys, your language is very important. That's why I'm getting upset, guys. Like, I'm serious. If you're not careful and you're a PhD level doctor, this is the kind of stuff that it makes you wonder, well, do you see the Epstein victims as victims? Or are you going to say what Megyn Kelly said? Well, I just thought they were this age and not that age. You cannot. You have to be careful. We give certificates and accreditation to these people. Y'all, please hold these people accountable. Okay? Hold them accountable. And I'm glad. Nancy, shout out to Nancy. I wear the wig on my photo very proudly now because literally I don't ever I could tell you 75% of the time I cannot stand Nancy, but here she gets 2 brownie points on this one. Okay. She really, really does. She needs to check her hard drive. Check her, Nancy. And I'm sorry. I did just cuss. I did, but literally sit her down because she's not getting it. She's not. The plane flew. It left the airport a long time ago.
Investigative reporter, what can you tell me about allegations a sharp object or a sharp instrument was used to murder Celeste?
Well, that's what we're being told by the complaint that was filed. They're just saying sharp instrument. There has not been a coroner's report yet. We haven't seen that. Hoping it comes out to in the near future. But right now, that's all we have. Sharp instrument was used in the homicide of Celeste.
There is a medical examiner's report, but it's been under seal for some time.
Yes.
Pursuant to request by the police.
Yes. This is Bodie, this is completely accurate. This is what bothers me. When you use terms incorrectly, then you're objectifying, not only that, but you've adultified a child, right? This is what we do every time when we hear about, for example, the Lisk killer. Well, he's only attacking prostitutes, right? Or this killer is only attacking runaways, the people that aren't reported on or that are forgotten. When you don't use terms correctly and you carry a PhD behind your name, that is just complete. You've lost it. You've lost it. You cannot adultify the situation. It is absolutely statutory rape. Absolutely murdered this child. That's why when I heard her say DV, I said, wait a minute, how does she as a PhD view this dynamic? Because she's not saying the words that you would think somebody with some experience in working with children would understand. She doesn't get it. She's not getting it.
That's got to be lifted. Okay, Joe Scott Morgan joining me, professor of forensics, Jacksonville State University. He is the author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon. He is a star of a hit podcast, Body Bags with Joe Scott Morgan. But for my purposes, he is a death investigator with over 10,000 death scenes of all sorts under his belt. If she's been dismembered in the most brutal way in 2 body bags, head in one of them, this little girl, let me see, Celeste, this little girl's head was severed from her body. 13 when she started, quote, dating D4VD, aka David Anthony Burke. Her head was severed from her body.
I just the idea of that. She was 12, I think. People have said she was 12. She might have not been 13. Okay, just so people are aware.
Think about it. Think about the effort of severing her head and what ghouls were around when it was done. Okay, the rest of her body dismembered. It's not like the rest of her body was intact and put in a bag. It was dismembered too. So with all of that dismembering going on, how in the world do they know at the medical examiners that she was murdered with a sharp object? For those of you just joining us, D4VD, David Anthony Burke, has pled not guilty in a court of law. We'll see about that. Okay, Joe Scott, hit it.
One word, Nancy, hemorrhage. That's what they're going to be looking for. So they've talked about the sharp instrument. All right. When you have an attack that occurs, in life, blood is coursing through our veins. If he stabbed her, for instance, first off, stab wounds are going to look very specific, say on her torso, her chest, even her face, Nancy. And yeah, even in an advanced decompositional state, microscopically, with tissue sections, we can actually appreciate if there is indwelling hemorrhage. Hemorrhage is indicative of an injury that
dear
occurred
Lord,
in life.
man, wait. I'm sorry. I did not ask you to read out of Britannica. Speak English. Regular people talk. Street talk.
Speak English. Speak English.
Vernacular, as I like to say. Regular, commonplace, vernacular. Hemorrhages. You mean bruises. But can you go in depth on that? Because her whole body has been dismembered. How in all of that? It's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle. How do you find a hemorrhage and differentiate between a bruise, which is a hemorrhage, and her body getting cut apart, Joe Scott?
Because the dead don't bleed is what it comes down to. So when a body is dismembered, you're not going to have hemorrhaging. You're saying bruising, but you're not going to have hemorrhaging in that area. Let's say an arm is
you mean bleeding?
Yeah. So you're not going to, if you have an arm removed from the torso.
Yeah, I'm glad that that's been figured out, because literally, yeah, I didn't understand it either. Now, Coachella last year, right? Ooh. She was already gone by Coachella last year. We've determined this, correct? Cameras are not allowed tomorrow. Anyone plan to go in to take notes? That's what we're hoping. We're trying to figure that out. I think, like we said earlier in the announcements, yeah, she said Britannica. Like we said earlier in the announcements, Becky might be able to go, but she's got a family emergency, so we'll see, and we'll be live on it. So we'll see. My question is, she was already gone by Coachella time. I'm not making that up, right? Well, when is, can the young people in the chat, because I've never gone to Coachella. Yeah, I don't know. They might have one or two cameras. They usually have one, but I don't know about no cameras. That's what people have said, but I don't know. So it was after Coachella. What's Coachella's date? We just had a Coachella, right? Is it the midweek of April? It was right after Coachella. So it started the week after the fact. Okay. Do we know the dates for Coachella last year? Tomorrow would have been the last day that anybody would have seen Celeste alive. Like, it would have been from the time frame that the DA's office is giving. It's a 2-week back-to-back event. Really? So it's literally like, Flojo, it's literally all of April is Coachella time, right? For 2 weeks. Thank you. Celeste Rivas was likely already gone when David, D4VD, performed at Coachella on it. But Shrinking Sharon, the DA said that the last time they saw her, or at least that he lured her sometime in April 23rd of 2025, right? So there might have been like a text message between them. Now, somebody was asking on the chat, like, what about her phone? They probably have a phone. We don't know. They have Coachella 2 weekends, right? That's a very long time. He was performing. We played a video. Matter of fact, I could probably pull that video. We have that video of when he was performing last year, and he was with like another influencer.
So that area, when you look at that tissue microscopically, Nancy, it's not going to show bleeding into the surrounding tissue. All right. However, if you have a sharp force injury that tracks back to the fatal event, you will have specific signs of hemorrhage in there. That's because blood at that point in time was still coursing through her body, Nancy. And listen, it's not easy to do this because she is in such an advanced state of decomposition, because we're talking months and months and months in that LA heat in the front of that car. You think about that, and that's going to compromise. I think that's probably one of the reasons it's taken so long for them to make a specific diagnosis here. I've been involved in cases like this in the past, and you have to go over every jot and tittle to try to disseminate between what happened in the antemortem or prior to death state as opposed to the postmortem state, Nancy.
If you have been leaning on credit cards lately.
All right. Yeah, Nancy and her supporters, sponsors. Hold up. Let's watch something real quick. Let me show you guys this. This is last year. Hold up. This premiered April 12th. Okay. So a year. Shirts. That's a style. Bloody shirts. That's what's the style? Bloody shirt. You know. You said, if they were, where did they obtain that evidence? If it's in the house, well, we don't even know where she died. That's the thing. We've assumed a lot, but we don't know. What we do know is that she didn't die. He didn't do anything to her in that rented house. Okay. So let's jump over here, and I'm going to pull some of that other Coachella footage that I've seen so far. Again, we are watching, reviewing Nancy Grace. She's actually gotten 2 brownie points. I'm a little surprised because usually I quit like in the middle of this and I'm like, I can't watch Nancy anymore. But today I'm impressed. Nancy got her wig. We got our wigs on right. You know, I got my Nancy wig in that thumbnail, and she got her wig right. So we see each other. Okay. Let me keep going.
From Queens, New York. I'm in Houston now. I am a gamer. I love video games. I want to be a professional gamer before music. That's actually what pushed me into music, was getting copyright strikes on YouTube. And I kind of just used my own music in my montages after my mom told me to. I was crying to her about it.
That from our friends at Genius. And he is very concerned that I might call him D4VD. His name is David Anthony Burke, and he has been charged with murder 1, which is a whole nother can of worms. Murder 1. Continuous of a child under 14, which means started when she was 13, when they first started, quote, dating. Mutilation of human remains. Wow. We've been waiting. Justice for Celeste. Now, do we have it? HELLNO. No justice until there is a sentence.
Oh, damn.
This is a death penalty case, but will the prosecution...
Did she just make like a whole acronym? She totally did that. She really did.
Seek the death penalty or go hide under their desk the way the prosecutor did in the Brian Kohberger case. We'll see what happens. That said, much is being made of how this case will be proved because the killer, allegedly David Anthony Burke, dismembered the body. Time passed. Her body decomposed. Witnesses disappeared. Their memories faded. Straight out to Brian Fitzgibbons joining us. Director Operations, USPA Nationwide Security. He leads a team of investigators around the world. He is a former Marine. He is an Iraqi war vet, which I believe says it all. Fitzgibbons, when you are looking for missing people, when you are putting together a case, see, I love forensics. Joe Scott and I could talk about forensics all night long. Never get tired of it. Fingerprints for hair, fiber, mitochondrial DNA, mixed DNA. Nothing can make me happier than to delve into those intricacies. But practical matter. All
right, let's get into this. Come on, Nancy. This is too long-winded. Let's go.
Once her body was found dismembered, that we would need witnesses to say, I saw them, fill in the blank. How do you find the witnesses, and how do you gently convince them to testify?
Yeah, so something that we've been saying right from the beginning of this case, Nancy, and the DA in the press conference alluded to it. There was a tremendous surveillance effort on D4VD, David, and his associates. For them to have this hard of a
there's
timeline,
Neo. See him? Remember him, Brian Fitzgibbons?
Oh,
Neo Langston went and hid out under his mommy's bed in another state, and we had to get.
oh my God. Oh, Nancy. She said, so there's, and I've said this before, I'm surprised. Like, the DA was asked about other people. We're going to watch the DA's interview as well, but oh man, she said he went and hid under his mommy's bed. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Get a material witness warrant to drag him back in by his toenails. He did not want to testify, but he did. Speaking of witnesses, I sorry to interrupt. I just wanted you to see Neo. They were former best friends. Okay, go ahead, Brian. I just wanted you to see Neo, one of those witnesses.
These photos they're like all over the internet now because he tried to hide them. But let me say this. Do you guys remember when TMZ put out there that there was a witness that was refusing to testify? And that they were gonna, and I believe it was a female, if I remember correctly. She was not showing there was a witness that did not want to testify. I think I remember that specifically. I could be wrong, but let me know, guys, in the comments. Like, am I going off on this? TMZ reported that there was a witness, the grand jury, that refused to testify that would be like, she would be held accountable or something.
Yeah, and you at least had Neo, who was refusing to cooperate at the beginning. So now the DA and the chief of police present a hard timeline. April 23rd, Celeste Rivas was murdered. May 5th, her body was dismembered. What does that tell us? There's some evidence, be it from a witness or digital evidence from witnesses talking about this case, that point to this timeline. That didn't come just from the forensic evidence. This comes from somebody associated to the murder of Celeste Rivas that has either cracked or been found out through a digital investigation or a surveillance effort.
Today, I am announcing the charges against David Anthony Burke, the musician known as David, spelled D4VD, in connection with the brutal and horrific murder of Celeste, a 14-year-old. These charges include the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring. That is first-degree murder with special circumstances. The special circumstances being lying in wait, committing this crime for financial gain, or murdering a witness in an investigation. These special circumstances carry with it, along with the first-degree murder charge, a maximum sentence of life without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. The determination on whether or not the district attorney's office will seek the death penalty will be made at a later time.
There you see the elected district attorney in LA announcing the charges and special circumstances. There's more.
There are additional charges against Mr. Burke, including continuous acts, lewd and lascivious.
I want to know, like I said, and I've said it before, I said, I highly doubt that he did this by himself. I still stand on that. I don't think he did this by himself. There's got to be other individuals involved. There has to be. But did they take a plea deal? What happened?
Acts with an individual under 14 years old and mutilating a human remains of a body. On April 23rd, 2025, has been alleged by the complaint. Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time, went to Mr. Burke's house in the Hollywood Hills. She was never heard from again. On September 8th, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, Miss Celeste remains, her dismembered and decomposed remains, were found in 2 bags inside of a front trunk of a car registered to Mr. Burke.
What were they thinking? Now, we have learned through a witness, through a friend of our program, that he observed the car being moved multiple times through door cam.
Who, Nancy? Nancy? Say it, Nancy, who? Nancy? Listen, Nancy, you put, who said it? Because I remember who said it too. But who said it? Who said it? We want to know. We the people want to know, Nancy. Go ahead, tell it, Nancy. I'm sure you guys can drop the name in the chat, but I want to know. Yep. Who said it? Nancy knows. Nancy knows. Remember when she was that was so hilarious when she would put that camera right at him and Steve would not speak. I'm like, oh my God, Steve, why is she talking to you that way? I cannot. Yeah. Say it. Yep.
In the neighborhood. And I pressed him to get him to admit it was a Neo. He never would admit it on air.
She did press him. She pressed. Yes, she did. And it was hilarious.
There's more regarding the special circumstances from the elected DA. Listen.
Those special circumstances are lying in wait. That Celeste went to Mr. Burke's home on the night of April 23rd, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, at his invitation, and again, was not heard from again. The second is a special circumstance being that this murder was committed for financial gain. As the evidence will show in court, the financial gain was for Mr. Burke to maintain his very lucrative musical career that Celeste was threatening.
In addition to Brian Fitzgibbons, USPA Nationwide Security, Scott Eicher is joining us. He is at Precision Cellular Analysis. He is a founding member of the FBI CAST Cellular Analysis Survey Team, homicide detective, 12 years, Norfolk, Virginia, and has worked countless cases. Scott, thank you for being with us. You heard Brian Fitzgibbons discussing getting witnesses. There had to be a witness that saw what happened, because they've got it down to a T, that this all went down April 23. April 23. Was that the day her cell phone was turned off and it was never turned back on? Was it turned on at a certain juncture and text messages sent to her family in parlance or vernacular that was not hers? Just tell me what we can learn. We know from a source inside the police station, inside LAPD, that there was a huge wall of cellular digital analysis, putting various parties together at the same time, where they traveled. Explain how they're going to prove this digitally, Scott Eicher.
It does. I remember, what did they say? Did they say 40 terabytes? But I told you guys they could have 40, but they still have to go through all of that. And I'm pretty sure that at the end of this, it might be less than 40, because, you know, the defense is going to strike things. They're going to remove things. When they did the Diddy raids, there was a lot that was found, and half of that wasn't even seen in the RICO case.
Well, as you know, every case has just a ton of digital evidence. And in this case, we're looking at not only Burke's phone, but Celeste's phone, but all the phones of people that they communicate with on a daily basis. So we're going to get the records from the cellular records to determine where they were at on the day of April 23rd when Celeste went over to the house. So then we can start looking at, you know, not only who was there at the time that she was murdered, but the communications prior to that, the lying in wait, the planning of the event.
Everything. You know, you said, I think there's a huge hole in the case theory if they have not determined where it happened. Well, we never said that they didn't say they didn't know where it happened. They just didn't say where the murder occurred, right? They didn't publicly, they haven't said that they don't know where it happened. We, the public, don't know. I have a feeling that they know. If they have forensic evidence, something tells me that they know where she was killed. Exactly. And something tells me it has to do with that Santa Barbara trip, time frame wise. That's kind of my thought process behind that. We don't know because it hasn't been publicly said, but I have a feeling that the DA knows where. And why would they put that out there as well? Why would they say publicly where she was murdered? It wouldn't suit them, especially the level of interest that everybody has on this case.
Then we look at, you know, the events that happened after her death. You mentioned the car being moved. So every time, that's a furtherance of the event that we can add to the digital evidence aspect. And it's not just the content of the communications, the location of the devices, but all the social media. We're looking at pictures right now of all the social media that these two have been putting out. And we know Burke has put out a lot more because he's a magician. He's got to be on social media. All those are tracked and give us some locational information when we go to the applications where they were posted.
Hi, guys. Nancy Grace here.
Oh, my gosh. Nancy Grace, hold up. We're almost there, guys, because I really want to see this interview with the DA, but I'm kind of curious. I want to know the medical stuff as well, because I think it's important as we're understanding that I'm not upset at Nancy in this so far. I think she didn't bring the other Dr. PhD lady back. That was hilarious. Let me just say that. She didn't bring her. She said, no, you're not coming back anymore.
Analysis that phone records had been subpoenaed for everyone that lived in that home and everyone that frequented that home. And there was in and out all the time. Those phones were tracked to see when they were traveling, most likely with David Anthony Burke. We're probably going to look for Neo's phone if he was moving the car, allegedly. We know he has turned state's witness. He has not been charged. No one else has been charged. If they have not been charged, Troy Slayton, veteran defense attorney, then they have no grounds to plead the Fifth Amendment and remain silent if they're not going to be charged or if they've been given immunity.
Well, that's true. You can't claim a Fifth Amendment right not to incriminate yourself if you've been given immunity. But just because you haven't been charged doesn't mean that you don't have the right to remain silent.
Okay. I hope he answered the question this time. Just say.
So I think if anybody feels that they have any criminal culpability in this case as an accessory after the fact or as part of a conspiracy to commit murder, then absolutely they don't want to talk. So any experienced attorney worth their salt is going to make sure that any person that's in David's orbit is going to seek a deal to seek immunity. So that way they don't have a criminal exposure in this case as well.
Dave Mack, where are the parents in all of this? They reported Celeste as a runaway once and then went radio silent.
And Nancy, they stayed fairly silent until yesterday, and they were at court. They were there. And
I do wonder, and let me know in the chat what you guys see. Do you guys think that the DA told the parents to be quiet, or did they find out the details of everything that happened to Celeste Monday like we all did? Were they briefed before? But see, I honestly think that they have been working with the DA for quite some time because they had to go. My understanding is that they were witnesses to the grand jury as well. So they also had to go and testify, some of the family. So do you guys think that they were radio silent for the purposes of finding justice for their child? Yeah, I think that they've been knowing everything that happened and how things were going to go down.
we were told, the media was told that they would be making a statement to the press, but that did not happen. So ever since this case exploded last September, the family has remained silent since the first week, and we still have not heard from them right now.
Question, Dave Mack, were they ever spotted out looking for their daughter?
No, Nancy. They reported her missing, and here's the kick: they reported her missing. And
what do you guys think of Nancy's question? I think it's a legit question. That's a question that any law enforcement would ask. Well, did you go out and look for your child? Do you know where she might be at? That type of situation.
She was then, Celeste was then seen back at the home in the complex area in the weeks and months following the initial report of her being missing, but she was never reported as having come back home. The family never alerted authorities. Oh yeah, she's not missing anymore. We know where she is. A lot of questions around the family, what they knew and what they didn't know. But bottom line is they did report her missing first week of April 2024. And Celeste was seen back in their home area after she was reported missing.
Not another word. Well, the parents have not been charged with anything as of right now. Troy Slayton, veteran defense attorney out of LA. Troy, in many jurisdictions, failure to report your child missing is a crime.
There you go.
It very well could be. And it doesn't seem.
If you fail to report, like if your child's been a runaway, you can get in trouble. Even though, and this is the part, and this is the headache, because kids do run away. Even if your child is a chronic runaway, you need to report them. You need to report them. Don't not report them. People get tired because, chronic runaways, they run away all the time, and then they come back and then they run away and then they do this thing, right? And so it becomes like this consistent thing of having to go back and forth, right? So she's right about that. There is, if you don't, you can get in trouble for not reporting your child as a missing runaway.
Like the family was too concerned. It seems to me that they knew. Now, look, a parent can't consent to have their child engage in activity at age 13 or 14. But there is no evidence that they were coming around the house and that they were out, searching for their daughter. It doesn't appear that they were being very vigilant. I'm not blaming them. I'm not saying that it's the parents' fault. I'm just saying that we don't have any evidence.
You would never. Well, you know what? I will. And
what we also don't have, Nancy,
where were they during all of this? Celeste is dead now.
We don't have anyone. We don't have anyone publicly, Nancy, who has come out and said that they saw a murder or that they knew about a murder. All we know is that a person was found dead at David's house or in his car that was registered to him, that she last went to his house and that she was found in a car. There's a whole lot in the middle of this chain, Nancy, that the prosecutors are going to have to prove in order to get a murder conviction here.
I don't know why you're saying we don't know, because we haven't had a trial yet. That's why we don't know. But
Troy, you with your 5 foreheads, don't get closer to the camera anymore, because I'm telling she's about to grab that gavel and bop you in the head. Troy, scoot back, okay? Because oh man, I agree and I don't. I'm back and forth on this one. I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of see things twofold, but I'll let her breathe.
The LA District Attorney did say this.
Is there physical evidence that ties David to this murder?
There is physical evidence and there is forensic and digital evidence that we intend to present in court to prove these charges beyond a reasonable doubt.
David Anthony Burke, aka D4VD, pleads not guilty. And interesting, this was not a grand jury indictment. There was a grand jury that investigated, called witnesses in the case. Now there will be a preliminary hearing. And Dave Mack, that's like a mini trial where we will hear state's witnesses, probably just state's witnesses. Isn't that set for April 23?
This digital evidence, I agree. This is going to be very. I'm curious to know, what do they have? Something tells me, we talked about this yesterday, they probably have a message between them that put a time frame of the last time anybody saw her alive, okay, and even a location. Like I would think, because truly the only people I know what really happened is Celeste is no longer here and David, unless there was another witness. And we don't know, and there could be, because maybe they're cooperating, they don't want to be held accountable.
Is Nancy, by law, this preliminary hearing has to be held within 10 days. And so right now we're looking at a possible preliminary hearing as early as April 23rd.
American homeowners, the FBI has been warning about a type of real estate fraud called title theft.
All right, let me stop. Okay, so I don't know if she gives any more commentary here. Does she in? She tells people, of course, if you have information, to call the tip line.
90. Repeat, 213-486-6890. The state and the defense both building their case now. Tonight, we remember an American hero, Deputy Sheriff Thomas LeMay of LaFleur County, Oklahoma, just 30, shot in the line of duty, leaving behind a 5-year-old daughter.
Oh my God.
American hero, Deputy Sheriff Thomas LeMay. Thank you to our guests for being with us tonight, but especially to you.
Nancy didn't bring back the doctor anymore. I didn't see her. Did she bring back the doctor? Because I think after she went, she's like, your widescreen sucks, and that doctor did not come back anymore. That is interesting. I bet you she's not going to come back anymore. That was horrible. Now, let me shout out some people, because we're going to watch some other interviews as well. Su familia también podría ser denunciada por no cuidar, y aparentemente sabía de que Celeste salía con un mayor de edad, siendo ella menor, y no hacer nada al respecto. So the question is, could the family be held accountable? Because it sounds like the family was aware that Celeste was likely with someone that was of adult age, and it doesn't seem like they did anything in of the situation. It's a great question. Buena pregunta. I guess that's for the district attorney's office to find out, right? And determine, were they negligent, or did they do anything, or what happened? I mean, they were cooperating. No creo que le vayan a dar cargos a la familia. No parece que esa vaya a ser la situación, que les vayan a dar cargos, pero de que hubo negligencia, para mí, en mi opinión, parece que sí. Por una parte, porque cuando esta historia se quebró, o cuando esta historia se reportó de primeras, fue a TMZ quien habló con la mamá, y la mamá le dijo a TMZ que ella tenía un novio que se llamaba David. So it basically said in Spanish, I don't believe that they're going to charge the family, but by the looking out, this does look like a lot of neglect to me. And it's not that I'm telling you what it looks like. I'm not saying that they should be charged. I'm saying, I get it. We're not blaming the parents. Okay, fine. But it does look like a lot of neglect if you're looking as an outsider, because teenagers do run away. But a lot of parents think that, there's a lot that a parent can do. And there's a lot that people look at to see if a parent is being proactive in finding their child. For a child to have been a runaway for so long, right? And it sounds like she was kind of coming and going. And you guys saw all the dispatch reports that were happening. And it's interesting, because I was listening to True Crime with Strategic Eyes. He was even saying the same thing too, that it's like a lot of people knew. The cousin knew. there was a lot of people that got complacent to this situation too with Celeste. And sometimes it was more about, not wanting to cause drama, because maybe if you give her an ultimatum, she might run away again. That could very well be the case. I'm sure they didn't want to do that. But the question is could they be charged because she was dating an adult? That could happen, but that's up to the DA. I don't know. But you guys let me know. Yeah, and law enforcement can only do so much, guys. Law enforcement can only do so much with your chronic runaways. You can't put a chain to a child. You just can't. Kids come and go, they run away. You have to be able to deal with it as long as you are reporting it and you're being active. But yeah, just so people are aware. That's right. Neglect for legal purposes, thank you, means the crime is foreseeable under the circumstances, not within the scope of the imagination. That's correct. If mom knew this guy was crazy and let this happen, that's neglect. So she would have had to have had some insight to that situation. In CPS, neglect, you're right, that it kind of follows in the same definition. Now hold up, I gotta shout out some people, guys. I'm really behind. I do apologize, but let me start from the bottom. Michael Parker, thank you so much for the 5. I get the feeling that it will come out that not only did the family know that Celeste was dating David, but they knew his age and they were benefiting. There have been a lot of speculations that the family was being paid. People have said, and I have heard through other sources of the journalistic kind, that there has been some thoughts behind certain things, right? It is not, in the Latino culture, it is not unheard of for a young girl to be dating an older man. I'm putting it out there, okay? It's not unheard of. If there's money or something that she's going to be taken care of, it does happen. Now, is it okay? No, it's just not unheard of. It's not unheard of. One of the things that me growing up, I remember, there's this thing in Spanish that you say, when a girl runs away with the boy, se la robó, meaning like he took her, he stole her, right? But it's almost meant to say like they're married now, or they're together, or they have a family, or it's legally okay for this guy that's 10 or 5 years older than this child to be with this adult. It's more common. But Michael, you're not the only one who has said this, and there's other sources, like I said, of the journalistic kind that have supported and said this as well. SJ, thank you so much for your super sticker. Thank you. SJ, thank you so much for the super sticker. Mags, thank you. For the 5, is it a coincidence that on April 23rd, 2025, he lured her to his home and his next court date is April 23rd, 2026? I think it just goes with the court calendar, but if that is the last time anybody saw her alive, it's an interesting timing for sure. Thank you so much for this. Hey girl, member for 4 months. Shout out to you. Thank you. SJ King, always brilliant commentary, Rabbit. Thank you. I know I had a moment. You guys saw me like freak out here in a minute with the doctor lady. I could not believe. Please, Nancy Grace, don't bring her back. Do not anything. She just didn't get it. The hard drive is broken. She melted in the background, like literally. You couldn't even see her face. TX Cat VF, thank you so much. Texas Cat, thank you so much for the $4.99. I appreciate it. James says D4VD has released cover of Akon's Lonely to help cover his. Oh God! So he's gonna release Akon's Lonely, Mr. Lone. Come on, James, don't put those two. At least Akon didn't do all this. Akon is a trip, but like, whew. Anyways, thank you so much, James. Shout out to James, our resident comedian. Thank you, James. My parrot was just diagnosed with an STD. Vet says he has chirpies. He said there's no need for concern because it's oh my God, stop, a disease and it's sweet. Oh man. Now this one's funny. Sometimes I can't even finish reading these because it's like, I cannot with you. I cannot. Yeah. VSOP says he should do Locked Up. He should do Locked Up. Akon's Locked Up instead. I know, but it's like, no, not Akon. I don't know. He's got some. There's something going on with Akon legally too, but that's a whole different story. By the way, James is our resident comedian. Thank you, James. And Gloria Madden, I think I shouted you out. Thank you so much again for the 199. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciated you. I appreciate you. Mar, thank you so much for the 10. Going to sound horrible, but very sus if there was a lot of neglect and no action from the family when she was alive, but a lot of action when lawsuit now that she's passed. You're not the only one who has said this, Mar. And that's okay. Like, people have said this too. Fair comment. You know what I mean? Katie Cat, thank you so much. Member for 16 months. Thank you, love. Shout out to you. Thank you. I hope you're doing well. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Yeah, everybody's laughing at James. Okay, let's watch this. So, by the way, the chief of police has spoken to the Fox outlet about the charges.
Famous singer arrested for murder to a string of break-ins in the Valley. It's been a busy month for LAPD.
LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell is here to talk all about that. Good morning.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Want to start with the David case. We've been talking about this. He's been charged with murdering 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, currently segregated from the other inmates, correct?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah. You know, first, our thoughts go out to the family for what they've had to endure, family of Ms. Rivas.
Yeah.
It's horrible to even imagine what they've been through for the last year.
Did you meet with them?
I personally have not. Our detectives have. Yeah.
And what have they, I'm sure it's been a long, confusing process. I can't imagine what they're going through.
You know, a lot of speculation because of the notoriety of the case. You know, so many people come up with their own ideas of what happened or didn't happen. And some of it was so far off the mark through the middle months of this in particular. And, you know, the family, while it may be entertainment for some, the family, it's certainly not. It's something very, very serious. And, you know, I think we all need to take a step back on some of these major cases and let the process work its way through. Our detectives did a tremendous amount of work on this under very, very difficult circumstances and ended up being criticized for not making an arrest fast enough.
Let's talk about that a little bit more. I think, you know, this case is getting a lot of attention, not only because it is a singer and famous to many people, but also she was just 13 when she left her house and then murdered at 14 when she was just 14 years old. And it took 7 months after her body was found for him to be charged. And a lot of people are wondering, why did it take so long?
Yeah, you know, there's an awful lot that goes into you know, to the investigation. The state of the body when it was found was you know, degraded, decomposed, and that creates another set of circumstances of complexity for the investigators and the coroner staff to be able to come up with a determination as to cause and manner of death. Whenever we have a death and it's appropriate, a toxicology has to be done on it. And a tox takes up to 6 months to be able to get the results back from that. But that's critical to know what other factors other than what might have been visible were involved in the determination of the cause of death. So a lot of times it takes a while to be able to get the full picture. And this was one of those cases.
Outside of the timeline of the investigation and the timetable, what have been some other big misconceptions about this case?
Oh, there was things that were ludicrous that were put out there.
This is a good interview, actually. I'm here for it because I think that he's not somebody that has spoken out. I think we've heard more from the DA, and even the DA has been very, very quiet. Okay, so I kind of like hearing his perspective too.
During the middle of it, the condition of the body, that part of it was frozen, and you know, the body was found in a vehicle, in the trunk of a vehicle, and you know, things like that that are, you know, I can only imagine what the family was going through while this was playing itself out, but things that made no sense at all.
Could because we know that his music has almost like art imitating life in a way. If you look at some of the lyrics, Romantic Homicide is one of the songs.
Right.
Could his lyrics and his songs be even a factor in a trial like this?
Oh, it'll be certainly introduced, I'm sure. And that's something that that will get attention during the trial, and we'll see how that.
Are they going to say that Celeste was like the muse, or like he was using Celeste like this way and stuff like that? It makes you wonder. There you go, TMZ, not frozen. See why it's like, there you go, TMZ, not frozen. I do wonder if that's going to be how the DA is going to put this out here. Like, you know, she is, it's right. Good to hear some answers, even if limited. I would agree for sure.
Plays itself out. It'd be speculative for me to say anything at this point about how that will look.
And you talked about the body being degraded to a point where it's a little bit more difficult to pull clues from that, extract clues from that. Obviously, there are things that you have not really told the public, or clues or things that you in your fact finding here that you have not released to the public. Because on the face of it, some people might look at it and look at this case as a circumstantial one.
Yeah, sure. No, there's things that certainly we don't put out there. It's not our role to be you know, feeding the news media, if you will, or the concern of some of the public. That'll, you know, we have enough to be able to have probable cause to make an arrest, and we present the case to the district attorney. They view all of the evidence and weigh it, and then be able to put together a presentation for a jury at some point. So to say anything beyond what's necessary at this point could potentially jeopardize the case, and we don't want to do that.
Are you looking at only him, or are you looking at the possibility of other people?
You know, the investigation is ongoing, so I wouldn't say you know, ever that it couldn't lead to other places. But yeah, I wouldn't comment on that much at this point.
Yeah. Like I said, I wonder if there will be. It's kind of hard to believe that. Again, I go back to that. Maybe they cut a deal, but it would be if other people helped him. I don't even know how I feel about the fact that they would have gotten a deal. You know what I mean? Like, you helped in the commission of a crime or of this magnitude revolving a child, regarding the child. I don't know, man. I struggle with this one.
In the death of the 14-year-old girl whose body was reportedly dismembered in his car all the way back in September. Los Angeles District Attorney Nathan Hawkman is going to join me live in just a little bit. I have a ton of questions. Also tonight, House Oversight Committee has launched a probe into the deaths or disappearances of nearly a dozen scientists who have worked in U.S. nuclear or rocket technology. This is something that Oversight Chairman James Comer called a potential, quote, grave threat to U.S. out of a Tesla allegedly registered to Burke. And today, Celeste's family was in court as the 21-year-old entered a plea of not guilty. Now, Burke faces multiple charges here, including one that could put the death penalty on the table, even though there's a moratorium on executions in California. But we're talking first-degree murder, continuous sexual abuse of a minor, and mutilation of human remains. At today's presser, District Attorney Nathan Hawkman said that this murder charge includes 3 special circumstances allegations: lying in wait, murder for financial gain, and killing a witness in an investigation. So prosecutors allege, essentially, that Burke killed Celeste to protect his budding music career after she threatened to report their sexual relationship. The district attorney also saying that relationship may have begun when she was as young as 13 years old. Now, Hawkman announced a special allegation that Burke personally used a deadly and dangerous weapon described as a sharp instrument to commit this crime. Burke's attorneys, though, they fired back. They maintain his innocence. They sent us this statement: the actual evidence in this case will show that David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, and he was not the cause of her death. We will vigorously defend David's innocence. And yes, to be clear, David is innocent until proven guilty. And normally, this would be the point where I start connecting the dots of walking through a prosecutor say happened. I don't have to do that tonight. Why? Because the man bringing these charges is here with us. Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan Hawkman joins us now live. Thank you so much for taking the time, sir. I know this is an important day for you, your office, Celeste's family, but I have been following this case every day for 7 months. So I have a lot of questions for you, and I was hoping you could clarify some things. First of all, can you tell us why David wasn't charged on Friday when he was arrested? Because I understand there were reports of a grand jury was hearing.
I have not watched this, so I'm here for it. Because I had a question. Put a one in the chat if you watched this. Because I had not. We were supposed to watch it yesterday, and I got bit. You know, yesterday was a long day too. But I'm here for this.
Evidence. So usually, right, there would be an indictment and an arrest in conjunction. Why wasn't he charged on Friday?
So while you are right that the reports have been that there was an investigative grand jury, in California, there's a difference between the grand juries. There's an investigative grand jury that hears testimony, can receive documents through subpoenas, and then there's an indictment grand jury. While we can't comment yet until the grand jury transcripts are unsealed by a court, I can't even confirm that a grand jury has occurred. There have been media reports that certain individuals, both cooperative witnesses and uncooperative witnesses, went in front of the grand jury. And over the last 7 months, more importantly, the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division, working with the DA's office, has methodically and rigorously gone through the forensic and digital evidence, dealt with every witness statement we could obtain in order to get to this point when we have filed the charges. And very often in Los Angeles, those charges will follow an arrest within 48 hours, unless there's a weekend of an arrest.
The reason I ask you that is because there were reports that the DA's office and the LAPD weren't on the same page, that something happened during this grand jury that stalled it, and the LAPD made an arrest.
Wait, who said that? I don't remember. Who said that? Who said that they were not getting along and they were... A lot of people said it.
Put the pressure on the DA's office to make a charging decision today, because even in the announcement on Friday, your office had said that they were aware of the arrest. So there was this report that perhaps you weren't on the same page when it came to charging David. Your response?
That's completely unfounded. We have been on the same page, working in lockstep with the LAPD robbery homicide since they picked up this case in September of 2025, when Celeste, the 14-year-old at the time, when her body was found dismembered and severely decomposed in the front trunk of a Tesla that was owned and registered to Mr. Burke, David Burke. So again, to the extent that anyone wants to create some type of story that the LAPD and the LADA's office were not working in lockstep, that would be untrue.
So I guess the question would be, doesn't this now have to go to a preliminary hearing for there to be enough probable cause to sustain these charges? This is something that his defense attorneys pointed out today. They want an immediate preliminary hearing that would be in front of a court. It's public. It's not a grand jury. Some would say it's easier to get charges in front of a grand jury than a preliminary hearing, particularly where I believe his defense attorney is now questioning the cause of death. So I go back to the question, is this the way that you always envision this case, to present it in front of a court as opposed to a grand jury? Is there an advantage to doing this?
So we typically actually present these type of cases at a preliminary hearing. The defense has the right to request a preliminary hearing within 10 days of the arraignment, which would be 10 days from today. Often, though, what will happen...
10 days from what? It was Monday, right? So when would that be?
Happen in that 10 days is they will get discovery from us. That discovery is incredibly voluminous. We estimate there will literally be terabytes of digital and forensic evidence, witness interviews. At some point, the court might unseal the grand jury transcripts, and they will get the grand jury transcripts. We have now, the court today issued an order to the coroner to release the coroner's report in this case. So whether or not the defense can be ready within the next 10 days to have a preliminary hearing, the only thing I can assure you is that that preliminary hearing goes forward, we will be prepared for it.
When they're disputing cause of death, any indication about why they're doing that? I mean, it's one thing to say he's innocent, he didn't do this. They're disputing cause of death. They're putting the pressure now on your office to prove this at a preliminary hearing. Is there something about the cause of death? And I don't believe they've seen the coroner's report. Anything you could say that might raise a question about that, or why they're raising a question about that?
Again, they haven't seen the coroner's report either. So the idea that there's a question over a report that they haven't seen yet and the cause of death, again, the defense will engage in whatever strategies and tactics and make whatever statements they have.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, though, we will prove our case in court. At a preliminary hearing, it's by a preponderance, a probable cause level of, and in a trial, it will be beyond a reasonable doubt.
Can you clarify something? Again, it came out today, but I just want to make sure I'm accurate. Your theory of the case is that Burke allegedly lured Celeste out to this property, that she was going to report him to the police about their relationship, and that is why he killed her? And if I'm correct, how do you...
That's the part that a lot of us, I'm like, oh my God, maybe she was going to speak out. Maybe she's going to say something or whatever.
You intend to prove that?
So the actual details of the evidence will be presented at the preliminary hearing and later at a trial. What we charge, though, and what the complaint charges is first-degree murder with 3 different special circumstances. The first one is lying in wait. And the allegation, as alleged in the complaint, is that Burke invited Celeste to his house the night of April 23rd, 2025.
Hold up. We might have some breaking news. Give me 1 second. When is this? Give me 1 second. I want to make sure that we're not going to... Oh my God. Hold up. Celeste Rivas Hernandez died of multiple penetrating injuries. Medical examiner says this was just released. Guys, breaking news. We have the cause of death as we were live. Breaking news. The Los Angeles police sought to keep the finding secret for months as they investigated the singer D4VD, who was charged this week with the murder of the teenager. Okay. Celeste Rivas Hernandez, a girl whose severely decomposed body was discovered. Okay, we know these details. So they've released the cause of death, died in a homicide of multiple penetrating injuries caused by objects, according to reports released Wednesday. Sorry about that. Hold up. So, according to the report released Wednesday, today's Wednesday, by the County of Los Angeles Department of Medical Examiners, the cause of death and matter of death were determined on December 9th, 2025. Okay. So they determined the cause of death December 9th, 2025. The report release comes more than 7 months after Celeste Rivas' remains were discovered in the front of the car of a Tesla. All right, hold up, guys. I got to do something real quick. Sorry about that. Yeah, they released the report. Sorry, I had to close the door. The report release comes for more than 7 months. Okay. On Monday, the prosecutors, we know that they charged him. And then Burke pled not guilty. Okay. During the months-long investigation into the Celeste Rivas death, the police and the medical examiner apparently clashed over. See, this is being reported that they clashed over the medical report should be released at the request of the police. And over the objections of the medical examiners, a judge placed a security hold on the case and prevented the report's release. So people were saying that they were clashing, but I want to know, after several months, I'm grateful this information can now be released. Not only, this is a statement from the medical examiners, not only to the public, but also to the grieving family enduring loss. The chief medical examiner, Dr. O'Day, said in a statement, okay, we're going to go into that. It is unfathomable that they had to wait this long to learn what happened to their daughter. So it's first-degree murder, which is what the charges include. All right. But I want to go to the statement. Let me go straight to the statement. Here it is, right at the website, guys. So we have the direct statement from the medical examiner's office. The official report has been released, guys. And here's the statement. The County of Los Angeles Department of Medical Examiners determined the cause and death of 15-year-old. She wasn't 15 when she died. Oh, did somebody read this before they released it publicly? Because she died when she was 14, not 15. Matter of death for 15-year-old is what they said. Celeste Rivas Hernandez has multiple penetrating injuries caused by objects. The matter of death is homicide. Ms. Rivas Hernandez was discovered at 1,100 hours on September 8th, 2025 in the front trunk of a vehicle in a tow yard in Los Angeles, and the death was pronounced by detectives with the Los Angeles Police Department. A deputy medical examiner conducted the examination of Ms. Rivas Hernandez on September 10, 2025 at the DME's Forensic Science Center. The cause and matter of death was determined December 9, 2025, so they knew how she died. A court order initiated by the LAPD previously prevented the DME from releasing its findings. This is direct statement. After several months, I'm grateful this information can now be released, not only to the public, but also to the grieving family enduring loss. Okay. It is unfathomable that they had to wait this long to learn what happened to their daughter. The transparency of the information contained in our findings and reports is essential for empowering the community to make informed changes to effectively reduce fear and allowing the community to make informed actions. Making the department's information publicly available is not just about accountability, it's about social justice and prevention. By ensuring access to the information, we strengthen our ability to learn, to act, and ultimately to prevent the next tragic loss of life. I want to extend my gratitude to our partners agencies for taking the necessary steps of filing an order with the court to make the disclosure possible. They were not happy about this whatsoever. Okay, so they're saying that multiple objects, multiple penetrating injuries. That's what the statement says. They said objects. We don't know. They didn't say what. It could be multiple. That's what they said. So that is the breaking news that we have, that her cause of death has now been released. Now everybody's picking it up. Her cause of death has been released. Okay. Man, but why did they say her age was 15? Because she was not 15 when she died. She didn't get to turn 15.
At which point he was lying in wait to murder her. The second special circumstance that was charged, and by the way, the reason you end up charging special circumstances in California is that if you have first-degree murder and you get convicted of it, it's 25 years to life.
Right.
But that allows the life sentence to be with the possibility of parole. If any one of the three special circumstances is found beyond a reasonable doubt by the jury, that then creates a life without the possibility of parole sentence, or if we so choose to seek it, the death penalty.
You mentioned cooperating and non-cooperating witnesses. I will tell you, people will look at this and say, okay, if the allegations are true, how on earth could David, this singer, kill this girl, dismember her body, leave it in a Tesla all by himself? There are those who say there's no way that he could have done this by himself, yet he's the only one charged. Are we dealing with a circumstance where there might be others involved, but they're cooperating, and if they choose not to cooperate anymore, they may be charged? Because I was listening to the press conference today. I was wondering if there's a little bit of opening that other people might be involved here.
Well, we have an ongoing investigation in the sense that if any individuals have information about Mr. Burke or anything dealing with this particular crime, please at any time reach out to the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division or the DA's office and bring us that information. With respect to any potential other individuals, as I said during the press conference, if and when we charge anybody else, and I'm not saying we will, you'll be the first to know.
And I have to ask this, but there was a lot of reports about Neil Langston as a potential friend of David who was reportedly arrested, brought back to testify. Is this one of the individuals we should be looking at?
Again, I'm not going to comment one way or the other about any particular additional individuals or whether there are any additional individuals. What we did with respect to individuals who wanted to either cooperate with our investigation or were uncooperative is that they often receive subpoenas to come in and testify in order for us to get the information to make the decision we made today to file these charges.
You called this a parent's worst nightmare. Based on everything I've seen in this case and what you described today, you're 100% right. What was it like sitting down with Celeste's family? Because during the course of these 7 months, we really haven't heard too much from them, and I understand why.
I mean, as any parent, and I am a parent of 3 children, can appreciate, when your daughter goes missing, and she went missing the night of April 23rd, 2025, and days go by, first hours go by, then days, then weeks. You don't know if she's alive. You don't know if she's dead. And then months go by, over 4 months.
Well, they did capture Celeste's dad. I do recognize his dad, and I think that's the sister. Yes, we just read it. We just read the statement, and we read the cause of death. Although I'm gonna be honest with you, I have more questions. I did order the reports back in November, and so maybe they'll start releasing them now. You said, yes, awful. Let the defendant meet justice. I really want to know why the lawyers look like a bunch of angry nuns and the judge. Oh my God. Yeah. You said there's so much more. No, and it's just like there's not a lot of details, but I mean, people are saying, well, objects can be people. I don't know.
Until finally it comes to light that your daughter's body has been cut up, mutilated. It's decomposing in bags inside of a front trunk of a Tesla all the way into September of 2025. Then you want to know, I mean, that not only is that your worst nightmare, that is the most horrible possible result that can happen. And now you want justice at some level. It'll never bring her back. It's impossible. But you want the killer and that murderer found, brought to court, have the evidence presented, convicted, and punished. And that's what we intend to do.
The medical examiner's report, before I let you go, talked about it being unsealed. When can we expect it to be unsealed, and what can we expect to be in that report regarding cause of death? And you also mentioned that Burke allegedly used a sharp instrument. How much is that report going to fill in the details?
Until that report's public, I can't comment on it, but I will tell you that the judge issued the order today to the coroner's office to make it public. I don't know how fast they'll respond to that order. I would imagine expeditiously.
Okay, yeah, I did see TMZ also reported. Medical examiner says she was killed by 2 penetrating wounds. That's not what they said. They said it was 2. They didn't say it was 2. It was just penetrating objects. We just saw it, guys. We just saw it. The statement. Multiple penetrating injuries caused by objects. So multiple. I guess multiple could be 2. Okay. They said Rivas' cause of death has just been revealed, and the medical examiner in Los Angeles says she was killed by multiple, there you go, penetrating objects with unspecified objects, and her death was ruled a homicide. Oh my God. They released a report. There's 2 penetrating wounds on the torso. Gotcha. Smooth edges that may represent sharp force injuries. The wound 3/4 inches length and 1.5 inches deep on the upper abdomen penetrates the liver, and the wound on the left chest 9/16 inches length and 2 inches deep penetrates one of the left intercostal spaces with the disruption of adjacent ribs, cortisol surface. Right here. 1. Wait, what happened to her head? Wait. There's more, guys. There's like, I need to zoom into this picture. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I can pull this picture out. Oh my God. Did I get it? Okay, here we go. Give me 1 second, guys. See what we can do. Here we go. Hold up. What does it say? Oh man, that's not what I want to do. Can we undo this? I didn't want to do that. Hold up. Let me stop this real quick. See if I can remove that real quick. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to stop. Okay. Here we go. How come I can't zoom in? Damn it. Partial what? Global not present. Something hardwood. My goodness. My goodness. Is that where he cut? Are these where all the cuts were at? Like, this is where they cut her? We don't know. They didn't say anything about the toxicology. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna try to make this bigger. Trying to see. Okay, I can't even scroll over more. So all of these are the cuts, shoulder, something about the leg, the fingers. The fingers say absent. It says absent on the fingers, guys. The tattoo is there. Shh. Look at this. The tattoo is there. Her legs. Oh my God. I'm trying to. Let me see if I can. That's her. It's her report. Multiple linear abrasions. I'm going to try to zoom in here. Yeah, these are the notes, guys. I don't even know what this says right here. Let me see if I can put this. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to see if I can put this on Chat GPT if I can get a clearer view. Give me 1 sec, guys. Hold on. We're going to get a bigger, clearer view. Okay. I just Chat GPT'd this. All right. Let me share with you guys. So here's a clean transcription. It says, page 1 of 2, decedent has her information there. This appears to be the measure defect wounds with distance from the anatomical landmarks. Okay, so like these are the noted, inches and everything. Label 2, her name is there. They're saying long black hair, partially deskeletonized, clothes not present, insect hardware present, 5/16 defects, face with extensive post-mortem changes, torso, oh my God, top 6. I'm having a hard time reading this, y'all. I do apologize. It's just like, I'm like, are we reading what happened to this child? Absent noted near hands, likely referring to tissue condition, legs and feet, multiple linear abrasions, large marking label DOA. Where's that? In the back? Large marking DOA. In the back, she has a large marking DOA. Is that like a what? Okay. skeletal remains. Okay, so this is what it means. The examiner is mapping out injuries and defects with precise measurements from body landmarks. Notes indicate advanced decomposition. Okay, no clothing present, multiple defects and wounds across the head, torso, and limbs. Postmortem changes affecting the face and soft tissue, abrasions on the back. Measurements in inches help reconstruct injury locations, possible cause, mechanism, correlation with forensic findings, autopsy report, and trajectory. I don't know, man. She just seemed like, yeah, what is the hardware? They said hardware, but hold up, Kimmy. I'm just reading the notes that it said there, but I'm going to go back to the chat GPT in a minute. Sorry, guys. This is like insane. Hold up. Is it showing? Give me 1 second. Is it showing? No, it's not showing. Let me stop sharing this. Oh my God. No, I don't think she had well, I don't know. I never really seen her teeth. Did they say hardware? I didn't. Let me see. Yes, it does appear. The note does appear to say hardware present. Insect hardware present. What is that? So it's typically refers to a man-made object associated with a body such as surgical hardware, dental hardware, occasionally other foreign objects. Could she have had dental work? It does not automatically mean anything suspicious. Very often it's just documenting medical implants or identifiable material that can help with identification. If you want, I can help you interpret. Yeah, that's what it means. Now hold up. What is DOA in the back? Hold up. I thought that's what I read. What is okay, dead on arrival. So I'm like, that nobody marked that, but they did. So they were already deceased on arrival when they received. That's what I thought. It's a status notion, not an injury. I was like, what? What is that? Okay, good. I'm sorry. Hold on. Hold up. I'm trying to see what else I find out. In forensic reports and autopsy, the language that would typically lead someone to believe that she's been dismembered, amputations, severed, disarticulation, dismembered, none of the language appears on this report. Doesn't mean that it's not there. I think that this is where, like, when they put the marks and the inches and stuff, that's where the cuts are at, but I don't hear the language there, so I don't know. The medical examiner notes show advanced decomposition and multiple defects, but the diagram itself does not state that the body was dismembered. So the defects could very well be the cuts. And it says abrasion, multiple abrasions, and hold up, absent on the fingers. Let me see something. So the fingers or hands or soft tissue were not present at the time of examination. That's what that means. The reports also say partially deskeletonized and notes insect activity. In advanced decomposition, the small soft tissue like fingers are often decomposed, detached, not recovered at the scene. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to try to pull something else up. Wow, I did not think that they were gonna. They put this out here. What it doesn't look like, based on this, that she was shot. That multiple objects could be multiple things, right? No, you know what? You know what? You're right. Notice how the finger with the one with the tattoo that said David is not. Was that on one of her fingers? Like making sure that that was removed. No, we couldn't find the word torture. I thought he said torture, but listen, I've been reading so many things, so that could have just been a thing of my imagination when I heard that. Rabbit sharp point things. That's right, Miss North Musing. So he could have, like, the fingers that are missing or absent. These ones. To hinder identification. That's what I'm thinking. These ones. So where did she have the David name? Was it on the... It was her right. I think this would be her right. So these ones right here were missing. These ones were missing. Okay. The ring finger and the pinky. The ring finger is the one that, if you guys have been following this, when she had the David name, it wasn't the ring finger, correct? Inside her, you're right, Tony. The tattoo that has the finger with the is there. Okay? So like Franny said, it's to, make sure there was no identification. Come on, this is giving so premeditation at this point. You remove the finger that has your name on it. Wow. Yeah, I know, man. This is crazy, man. Try to get, this is just... Some of them say that dice eso, pero ¿qué isn't it a coincidence? So Raquel says, Rabbit, pero dice que no están presentes los dedos por decomposition. The report does say, it could very well be decomposition. But to me, it's not a coincidence that the finger that is absent is the one with the David tattoo. I don't find that to be a coincidence. No se me hace, o sea, qué coincidencia que el dedo que tiene el nombre de este hombre no esté allí. Porque así no van a poder decir que es ella o que es el novio o lo que sea. It's very sus. ¿Cómo va a estar el dedo que tiene el nombre de el tatuaje donde decía David? Ese dedo no está. El otro dedo, right. Los dos dedos, el otro dedo tiene el tatuaje que dice shh. Ese tatuaje está allí. Ahí se lo notan. Dice shh. Ahí está el reporte donde dice eso. Hold up. Let me zoom in. There's a tattoo there. El tatuaje que tiene el nombre de David, no, ese dedo no está allí. So, ese es el otro dedo. No, es lo que te estoy diciendo. Ese dedo tiene shh. El otro dedo, hold up, we're talking about the fingers, y'all, sorry. Ahí dice absent. Estos dos dedos no están allí, ya no están allí. They're not there. These two fingers. So, the report does say that it's like it could be that the fingers are not there. They're not saying dismemberment. They're not saying any of that. But they're saying they're absent and they cut it with the line there. Yes, el dedo que decía David no está. Exacto. El dedo que decía David, the finger that said David is not on her body. Is not on her body. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to say. El dedo que dice, ahí está, pero el dedo que dice David no está allí. Son los dos dedos que están que no están allí. Someone posted on Reddit about the fingers. Y una persona, to go further in Spanish, una persona que no quiere que la otra persona sea identificada, pues le quitas el tatuaje, ¿no? Le quitas el... Okay. Raquel's like, I'm sorry, no, Raquel, estás bien. I'm trying to do both, y'all. I need to not... Here it is. Este dedo. Ahorita te lo voy a enseñar a todos. I'm going to show you guys the finger, okay? Man, I need to start holding streams, bilingual streams or something. This finger, guys. This finger. This is the finger. They didn't say meow doom. They didn't say whether it was detached or that's not what this says at all. But that's the finger. Remember, she had a tattoo that said that tattoo is still there. The tattoo with his name, that finger is gone. It's not there. That one in the pinky. No, está bien. I mean, it really does. It's got me all kinds of emotional. I can't even speak. That is insane. There it is. Ahí está. There it is. Yeah, I think it's her left hand. It doesn't say, the report doesn't say cut, but it says absent. So if you put it on ChatGPT is not going to tell you. They can only tell you so much. Is why it's like use it wisely when it comes to. I mean, it's helpful, but it's not like everything I would use for everything. But ChatGPT, if it's removed, it would say remove amputated, disarticulation. These are some of the words that they would use. But in this report, they're using absent, gone. Right, First Liberties. But isn't it crazy? This man cut, he'll have his day in court. He cut the finger with his name. Okay. You can, this was circulating all over. Man, this is, oh, I gotta go, man. This is like too much. Yeah, shout out to the Redditors. They put it out there. Shout out to the Redditors again. They put it out there. I'm like, wow. This is just like, all right. Well, tomorrow we're going to be live. Let me remove this because I'm sorry. I'm getting upset. And it's like, it's just so upsetting to see that. Let me shout out some people. Sorry about that. I got into this report and didn't even think. I can't even wrap my head around other stuff right now. James, thank you, James. Will Nancy Grace sue Rabbit for looking better than she does now? Don't do that because she will sue me if I use her image. Mar says, Rabbit, my brother. Thank you so much, James. Mar, thank you for this. Rabbit, my brother works in LA and Tech's court was barricaded today. Could this be the fact that the matter of the death was finally released? Potentially. Who knows? I'm gonna schedule the live tomorrow. I just need to step. This is a lot like that, She was 14 years old. The medical examiner can't even get her age right on the damn website. Like, that just pisses me off too. She was, Joey. Thank you so much for this. Danny, thank you so much for this. Thank you so much. No, I appreciate you. Wim, thank you for gifting 10 memberships. Guys, if you've been gifted, put a little heart. My battery's about to die here too. Put a little heart in the chat. I can't even do hearts. Sorry, y'all. This is upsetting. SJ, this man definitely not getting off. I got teenagers, man. I'm telling you, I have a teenager, and this would be like, you go through shit with your kids as a parent. I wasn't the best, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I can't, man. I don't get it, man. I'll see you guys later. Okay. Bye, guys.